welcome to the platform. And it's a beautiful Monday afternoon, not morning, afternoon. And today we are speaking to the lovely Judy Ranoto. How are you doing, Judy?
I'm good. I'm thankful. I'm blessed. Thank you for having me.
Should we address you as Judy, or should we address you as Mrs. Ranoto, or should we address you as Pastor, or because you have so many titles, so how do we address you?
I always say that people must use what's working for them. In every person, there's a certain anointing that is working. If you say Pastor Judy, you want the anointing of a pastor. If you say Sis Judy or Judy, some say Mama or whatever. But I think for this platform, because we're talking about business, you can use Judy. I'm okay with anything. I'm really cool with any title.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking more than just about business, because I think that you are, as a South African woman, you are more than just business, and I think it's important to also cover those as well. But yeah, tell me about you, before we even talk about you being a business person, how was it like growing up in Limpopo, in Polokwane?
Wow. Sure. My upbringing was very interesting because I was raised in a family that is loving and, I would call it religious back then. My mom was a single mom, and, she couldn't get someone to look after me, the helpers. She would go to work and come back, find me in my neighbors. So then she took me to a small village, Torahadi, to look after me for a couple, I think like 3-4 years. I was young then. Then she came and took me to Seshiho was staying in zone 4. So growing up, I was born in zone 2. I was staying in zone 2. So when she came and fetched me now, she bought a house in zone 4. And zone 4 was like quite a new place. So the schools were far. So I had to go to school in zone 2. And one of the privileges that I had growing up was like, I never had to walk those long distances. My mom would drop me in the morning, and then in the afternoon, she'll give me money for taxi. And, what I used to do with the taxi money was I will buy ice blocks for all the kids, and then they carry my books so I can walk with them, because I didn't want them to be walking alone. So my upbringing was very, very interesting. I'm the firstborn out of 4 kids. And I always called myself the DP, the deputy parent. So I carried, and I was very responsible from a very young age, And I saw how hardworking my mom was. I mean, in the early 90s, she bought a house in Ivy Park. Back then, to have a house in the suburb was big. Wow. So I looked at her as a role model, that she worked very hard. Looking at the environment, I mean, I grew up with my uncles. One was a teacher, one was a doctor. And, just looking in the community, like, to be honest, I was like, no, I'm not going to get married. I'm just going to be single and work hard, because also I think the challenges of who you leave your kids with and all that, but yeah, God always has better plans for us. So in the middle 90s, I went to stay in Ivy Park. My mom bought a house there. And I was very excited and happy, not that I didn't love the township. I still went, to visit my friends and everything. But, also the privilege of, from when the township, I was in a multiracial school. But now it was different. I was just a stone throw from the school and everything, you see. So I really, really appreciate that upbringing, because I know what is, how I looked at my friends growing up, and it's tough and they don't have shoes or things like that. So I was really grateful growing up in that kind of environment, and having, people that are role models in my life, my uncle, and it really motivated me.
Wow, that's amazing. So obviously you draw a lot of inspiration from your mom and your uncles, who are professionals. So, what drew you to now decide that, what inspired you rather to want to become an entrepreneur?
Okay, growing up, I studied electrical engineering. And along the way, I think because of, the situations I was looking, my mom is a single parent, we are four, and I didn't, I couldn't study what I wanted to study. And back then I didn't even know what I wanted to study. So then I went to a FET college to study electrical engineering. And I spent quite an immense time with my uncle, who was a doctor. So every time he will tell me about antibiotics and this and all the medication. So from a very young age, I used to like literally prescribe medication for, family members and, all those things because, I was hands-on. And I looked how successful he was. He was staying in Sunning Hill, early 90s. I mean, that was like the epitome of luxury. And I just knew, I was business driven from a young age. So I just knew that, as much as I want to be employed, I don't think that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. I feel like I am created to create jobs. So I worked at one of the, big banks, and I couldn't, I worked for like 2 years. But while I was working there, I started selling bags. I would sell bags and shirts, and then the next thing, then I left my job, and in the late, I think around 2008, yes, 2007, 8, my husband being a chartered accountant, he was studying his PhD in tax. And I always wanted more money. So I was doing a data capturing for the clients, and most of the clients were in the pharmaceutical companies. They owned pharmacies and everything. And I was like, the money, these people are making money. What can I do? I sat down, started approaching him, let's open a pharmacy. I was like, he's like, you're not a pharmacist. I was like, no, I'm knowledgeable. I know, a lot about medication and everything. Like when I go to the doctor knows Judy will prescribe for herself and everything. So now we went out to source the licensing. We acquired a license and I opened a pharmacy. It was a community pharmacy in Honeydew called Honeydew Pharmacy. So the biggest downfall was I went into partnership while it was halfway, because I love nice things. So I wanted to look beautiful, and, I want customers when they are there, and I didn't have enough funding, to do the perfect carpentry. It was just minimal. So then we went into partnership, and I remember, things didn't go the way, obviously your vision and someone's vision, and we're still young. I was young. I think I was in my late 20s back then. So I was very young, I was just, all over the place, didn't know what I was doing. And we just ended up, moving from the partnership, though the license was in our name and everything, and we just found a way to dissolve it, in a nice way. And I remember the stress that came with that. I think it was 2008. Then we were very stressed. My husband is writing board exams for, a PhD. It's tough. And I said to him, you know what, I've booked tickets. We're going to Egypt so that when you come back, you can write your exams. Let's just be in a different space and forget about this. So we went and we came back, he wrote and he passed. So fast forward, then, when you're business minded, that spirit is just in you. I've always been trying a lot of things and what. And then I was like, okay, I went to China, I went to Guangzhou, spent 2 weeks and came back. And I was like, no, let me go back to China. I started buying Brazilian hair, opened a shop at China Mall called JR Hair Supplies. And
China Mall, where?
fast forward.
In South Africa?
In China, Highgate, yes. In Highgate, in South Africa, yes. So I went to China. So I was sourcing other things. I was buying furniture for my house. Then I bought hair, and I was like, buying chairs for a different church. And the reason was I was trying to run from the calling of being a pastor. So I was like, oh, if I make a big sacrifice to God, then he will just like leave me alone. So I went to China, bought hair, came back and opened the shop. And then the next thing, sorry, let me tell this the gardener to stop the machine. Sorry.
I know, no worries, no worries. It's we're getting to understand you, and it's an interview at home. So.
And I moved from the office because I thought they'll ask me to do things. I have a Tovela FM interview after this. please tell the guy to stop the wheat eater. It's making noise. I'm on Zoom. Yes. So yeah, so went to China. It was also a learning curve. I mean, I'm just telling you a few of, my pitfalls in business and the learning curves, the lessons I've learned. So it was not practical. I have big cars, to fill a range to China Mall. The business is not even bringing 500 a day. You have to pay this and that. And I knew the owner, so I was not even paying rent. I was paying the levies. I knew the old man, the Chinese old man. So it's like, no, Judy, it's you. There's always that grace that I've received. And then, fast forward, I had to close the business and, and come back to the drawing board. So I said, okay, it's Judy, I can't just sit. And, and that time we started ministry. So, and I was like, okay, I said to my husband, I was praying, I think I need to source, a wholesale licensing for petroleum and everything. And, from the outside, it looks easy. The process is tedious. You need specialists, you need this and this and that, you need insurances for the trucks and all that and what. So it was not an easy ride, but, when you pray, God leads you to the right directions. I mean, till today, the guy who helped me, we can't find him. He's not traceable. It was like an angelic, encounter.
The guy that helped you get into the petroleum business.
Yes, like you need someone who will give you an insurance certificate that you're going to use their trucks and there's insurance documents. And came and, and I was like, let's meet at the office. He says, no, I want to come to your house. He was a white guy. Came, gave the documents and everything was, everything went. And remember, I must advertise in the paper so that if there's anyone who can like say, no, I know this company or what, you need to advertise in the paper. And, at that time, things were so bad. I didn't even have money to advertise in the paper because, I've been trying a lot of things and things were not working out and everything. But at the end, this guy came and I thought he's going to make a lot of money. But at the end, he just helped. And in 2 weeks, when you're trying to get hold of him, he's nowhere to be found.
Wow, that does sound like an angel. So you have to go through this tedious, tough process to qualify
to qualify,
and someone comes and helps you, and then you can't find this person and you don't even have their address.
Imagine, like they said, they're in the campus. I went and looked and I can't find him. And I'm like, what's happening, And Googling the company is there, but they're nowhere to be found now. So I was like, okay, this was obviously an intervention from God, you see. So those are the things that, you sit and think, okay, I think now I'm on the right track, with business and everything. And then, me loving business. As you grow up in life, you start now developing the gifts that God has given you. So when we started ministry, I was always worried, why are the church flyers always so ugly and tacky and all over the place? And, I started paying attention in graphics. I started loving graphics and everything. And I realized that, what, I really love graphics. So I then formed a company. It's called Yada Designs. So whereby, for me, I looked at, what is the gap in our communities or in the educational space. So I saw there's a lot of young people that are graduates that have, graphic design certificates and whatever, but they're sitting at home. So, God just, directed me. I started talking to them and I said to them, I'm opening a company. I want you guys to come and help and you'll get a stipend. So what I did is, so obviously the church hired, a permanent person. Then I started, roping in these young people and giving them money. And, at the end, we were faced with COVID. So I'll send them data to be doing the work. And, long story short, then I hit a contract with Gems to do one of their big projects with graphics, and it was during COVID, and I was really, really grateful because, that time we were all sitting home and we had enough time to think. And part of what we do as Yada is we do pro bono for churches in the villages. So if they say, oh, they want a banner, I'll do a banner, and then maybe give them the cost from the supplier for printing, or just do their flyers and everything. So now and then, and for these kids, I always say to them, remember, it's not about money all the time. Sometimes we do jobs to get exposure, just for us to be there in the market. I worked with fashion house designers, Pulse Home. We did their marks, we did their branding, and then I did also gems. I did different churches. I did, some are very, they'd make you sign the confidentiality that, you want. Yeah. So I was really, really grateful. And part of that, how it came was I always forced my kids to literally, have a skill aside from what they're studying. So I was pushing my daughter from grade 11. She's now doing last year at varsity, a fashion design. I said to her, Leah, you need to learn the skill of Photoshop and everything. We all have these nice machines, Apple machines at home and what? I want you to learn. And she thought I'm doing it for church. And fast forward, when she get to varsity, they were telling her she needs to know Illustrator. And at that time, she gets to writing a test in 30 minutes, she's done, because she has more experience than anyone. She's even showing the teachers the shortcuts and all that. So certain things in business, we do them because we're thinking about money, but literally it's about empowering ourselves and about creating opportunities for others. Because it really, really pains me when I see these young people are sitting at home. And for me, I said to them, it's not about money, it's about, having an income flow in your life. You're stopping the spirit of stagnation in your life, you see. So those are one of the things that are empowering me. And again, last year I started sitting, I'm like, I meet these big guys from overseas and that have money. They come in and they're like, oh, Judy, we love Spain City, you want to buy a house. And then I sit as a spectator at the end of the day. These agents, they don't even give me even 10K. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start my company I'm still busy with the registration, property sourcing. You see, so when I introduce an investor to the agent, then I must also get a share. And then when I have time, I will get, distressed properties, revamp them and sell them. So the investors are there. It's just for me to be moving around, because also people trust you when they see you have exposure about certain things. I've done renovations with my other properties. So personally, already, I have invested in property. So now when I go to someone and show them, the figures of, this is my investment, I have houses in North Riding here and then, whatever, this is what I've done. Now they get motivated and they can see, look, I bought this property in 2006 for 690. It's now worth 1.5 million. So I'm talking numbers, I'm talking about you having to buy a property that when you're sitting and sleeping is working for you. You see, so I'm always like for strategies and how to, in the show, I did 7 streams of income, where I brought my cousin, she owns a golfway, Itu Golfway. I brought a Chinese friend, you see. So I'm always building relationships and, making sure that I have relevant people.
How many businesses do you own now? Because, the pharmacy business, according to what you're saying so far, the pharmacy business and the weave business, those are the ones that didn't work out. But then, you made other business work. So how many businesses are you currently running now?
I think for privacy purposes, because there's other people that are involved in my other businesses, I think I'll disclose maybe 4. Let me see. Wait. Yeah, I think I'll disclose 4. It's Yada Designs. It's the Petroleum one, but also that one is I'm in partnerships also. And then okay, maybe let me just close 3. and also there's okay, then there's the property sourcing, then Express Service Center. So now this is I'm excited about this project. My husband has got a PhD in tax. and he's a chartered accountant. So we sat down and thought about a strategy of creating more jobs as we see graduates are sitting. So we need those kids that have just qualified to be, a chartered accountant or in business and whatever. And we creating an express service center whereby we can do tax services, accounting services, company services, to register companies, general business services and all that. And we have 2 advocates that we work with in our companies, in all our companies. We have one for the Judys, for the Judys. Then we have one that is a general advocate that we work with. I always believe you need to have the right people in your space, for legal purposes and all that. So yeah, and I'm really excited because I'm seeing the bigger picture whereby it's going to create a lot of jobs. And also because everywhere where these kids go, they're like, what experience do you have and whatever. And I feel that, even the middle class people that are working, they need a place where they can just have a stop and do their tax returns at a minimal fee, like 750 or 1,000, whereby you know that your taxes are sorted and everything is intact. You don't need to go to SARS. We do that for you and everything. And you know that you are good to go. You want to register a company, we do that. That we've been doing for long. But even the tax services, we're dealing with big clients with tax. But right now I said to them, we also need to empower our communities. What is it that we're doing for the community? And we're going to have 2 offices, one in Fourways and one in Pretoria, right in town, because we are already working with Sage. We are partners with Sage, whereby they also send interns, graduates, to get the skills. So those are the things that make me tick. It's about empowerment. It's about making sure that, we shouldn't look at people and think, oh, it was easy to get there. No, Judy didn't just get there. Judy has fallen. Judy, used to walk with her head down and like, what did I do this? I've spent my life saving in this pharmacy, everything is gone. And you pull yourself up and, as long as you don't fall in pits and you fall in potholes, you pull yourself up, and it's all lessons. There's no regret, because I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't go through, all those challenges in life.
I mean, look, you're obviously a very busy person. On top of that, you're a pastor, you're a wife, you're a mother. So my question now is, how do you balance, your responsibilities and still have time for yourself?
I think it's all about, finding that balance and, creating the space to have your me time. I always say that be kind to everyone, but not friends with everyone. Because my space, and also coming from a home where my husband is an introvert, my kids, I think they're like him. They're very quiet, and I'm there. I'm the flower of the house. I talk, I'm loud, and sometimes they look at me like this. So I'm one of those people that I value family time and I value me time, because I feel that every person needs to slow down and just be in that space of quietness. And also, given the gift that we're serving God, also, you need more time to literally meditate and pray and stay in the presence of the Lord and everything. So I always make sure that, I plan my time as to when I'm doing what and how. I don't like to be all over the place and be everywhere. I try to make sure that everything is organized. But, what you're saying, it's very critical, finding time, to tone down everything. I love holidays. We create memories. We've traveled the world to, have those memories. But at the same time, I always say, even when I'm home during the week, I literally take a day where I don't want to do anything. It doesn't matter, but I always make sure that I have one day during the week where I don't want to do anything. I just want to, take everything slow. And it's not going to be a Sunday, because Sunday is not possible going to church. And then after church, you see people and everything. So I literally, if I don't do it every week, at least fortnight, whereby it's a me time, like I'm just in my tracksuits, I'm home, can wear my PJs until 11, it's okay. Because I always say there's only one Judy at the end of the day. And I feel that, the Bible says that let every man who has an ear listen. It's in the book of Revelations. So if I don't take that time to be quiet and, you know, and just to scale down and everything, how will I even hear what God is saying? Because when you're busy with people and you're all over the place and everything, and, you know, and also it's, you know, someone said on the show, like, Judy, you're very spontaneous. 2 minutes you're high, then you like reserved and everything. And I'm like, I cannot observe and know what's happening around me if I'm just going to be hyper all the time. Even in the Bible, it says that there's a season for everything. So I believe that there's time for play. I love to dance. I'm one of the, I really love to dance. I dance to my pianos. I run, I jog with my pianos and all that. But I have that time when I want to be observant. Who's surrounding me? What's happening? What is God saying about them? So I'm very spiritual also in terms of, you know, I guard who's surrounding me. I always say that your destiny, you know, whoever surrounding you is your prophecy. It shows where you're going to be. You know, if we want to see where you're going, we should check who's surrounding you. So I love to be, you know, to do my philanthropic work, go to the township and, you know, create awareness for, you know, I launched my JR foundation about awareness about autism. But at the same time, I said, out of all these things that I'm doing, there is this day that I need to be just me, not even with my family or my husband, just me. And I promise you, after being in that space, I always come up with, you know, better visions and, you know, better solutions also, because remember that you need to do a reflection of, okay, what did I do in the past 2 weeks? You know, that propels you to now go into a different dimension. And yeah.
Wow, so well put. Thank you so much, you know, for giving me, you know, answers that have so much insights. So, you know, my second last question is like, how has it been, you know, being a reality TV star on Pastor's Wives? How has it affected your life?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I can say that it was just an extension of what I've been doing already. I started ministry on TV. We literally met this guy that we didn't know. It's like, God showed me you and your husband, and I'm giving you a platform on MSG TV. It was the toughest thing ever, because I said to him, we're going to pray about it. It's like, forget it. He took us to studio, introduced us. We didn't even know we were live. So then the following week, we started our live TV, and it was like live. It's on YouTube. I think it's MSG TV, Pastor Judy and Mabusha Ranoto. So that's how we started, you know, TV. I didn't even foresee this. And then the next thing, in 2018, I was approached by One Gospel. Then I did some episodes there on Feed My Soul. I did 2-3 episodes on Feed My Soul. And then like from there, then I started getting attention, because it's not public channels, it's, you know, this TV. Then last year I did a Hello Mamuruti. I think it's still yet to air in another channel. I think it's SABC or something. And when Pastor's Wives came, I said, and like, why is this TV opportunity always chasing me? From the word go, I've never went out to look for this platform, and it's always chasing me. Our spiritual parent, Bishop M.B. Mphatlele, she's got a big ministry in Limpopo. She always said to me, Judy, I want you to shoot a show. I want you to do a show. And I was like, Mama, no, you know, not now and whatever, you know, because we believed, me and my husband, we can't just be pastors. We studied. In fact, I'm graduating, I think next month, my diploma in ministry. So, you know, so, you know, it was challenging. The timing that when it came was, I was planning my 40th birthday. I'm writing my exams for, you know, ministry. I've registered with a university. Team Impact is in the US. So I was doing my diploma with them. And now I have to start this TV thing, and it's a reality. Now I had meetings and countless meetings with my family members, because they're introverts. So, you know, I always believe, my husband said to me, you are your own person and I cannot overshadow you. Do what you feel it's good for you. You have foundations, you do philanthropic work, maybe this will empower people. So for me, I said, you know what, let me go into it knowing what I want and what is it for? If this is a platform that is going to help young businesses, I mean, you've seen, I've called 2 business people, and in less than 24 hours, I arranged that lunch in. So it really taught me how resourceful I am, and with connections and everything. I mean, I was just like, we shot, it was hectic, high tempo. We shot 10 episodes in 5 weeks. So we're literally working from Monday to Saturday. It was extremely intense. And I was really grateful. I said to God, yeah, in 1 million people, only 1 or 2 get an opportunity to do a reality show. And if God is opening this door for me, I think it's for a good cause. If it's to educate people about autism and how we should care and love these parents and support them, let it be that. If it's to now take my business to another level, let it be that. If it's to glorify God and people, my story is, when I was young, in the early 90s, my uncle took me to Foy's Mall, and I stood in the middle of the mall. I said, this is where I'm going to stay. And, I stayed in Foy's and then moved, bought a property in North Riding. And, fast forward 20 years, I've been staying in this house for 8 years. I came and bought a property, and, it's one of those amazing stories that I feel it can motivate someone. And just to say, no matter how young you are, you can still speak what you want to see. Where we're going to be, me and you, next year, next week, this time, it depends on what we say today. So words are very powerful. You are the prophet of your own life, and that's why God says, as far as your eyes can see, that's how much I will bless you. He's talking about your spiritual eyes. So we always look at the naked eyes.
Wow.
So I was
That's
really
very
grateful for the
inspiring, very
opportunity.
inspiring.
Yes.
Lastly, quickly, what, tips would you give someone that wants to be as successful as you?
Um, wow. I wouldn't say I'm where I want to be. I always feel like way behind to where I wanted to be. And I will tell you, the advice is stop being fearful. Fear is the most I can't say it's powerful, but it's one of the spirit that torments us. And we should understand that, when you see something, the way you have seen it, that's how God is going to give it to you. You see? So I always believe that, believe that God is God. Believe that God, he's who he says he will. And it's a principle in the Bible that without faith, you cannot please God. So the fundamental thing in everything you do, business, life, marriage, and everything, you need to have faith, because it's the substance things that are not, but unseen, they manifest. So as I was saying, that where you're going to be next week, this time, it depends on you. If you say, I don't have, you won't have, because you have spoken words. So it matters what you speak to your business and how you speak. The words that you speak, their spirit and their life, they reach the destination. So I will say one of the biggest advice, I will say that always stay positive. Always, no matter how dark it looks, you are the one who's going to make everything manifest. So faith is one of the critical things. Focus, consistency, and determination. God is consistent. He gives us the sun every morning, the fresh air and everything. So God is consistent and he's committed. So stay committed to everything that you're doing, and you'll see like in massive results.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And I think, a lot of people are going to be inspired by this interview. So yeah, I know you have to do other interviews. So enjoy the rest of your day, ne?
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me in this platform. I really, really appreciate.
Okay, ne. Sharp, sharp.
Thank you.